Hi, thanks for tuning in to Expand Your Us this week. I will read actually a letter that I wrote in 2016, in the days following our election of Donald Trump as a country, and I read this in an effort to help us reflect on where we've been for the last 4 years, as well as offering us a chance to think about what it means, what we are affirming when we vote for. Our president. And so this is from 4 years ago. Friends, this week has been hard for me and many others in our country, and I suspect it would help us heal if I tried to explain why. After spending time with college students and talking with a few friends, I realized that many who voted for Trump misunderstand our weeping and gnashing of teeth. I'm reaching out because I don't want to be misunderstood. I'm reaching out because I want you to have every chance to understand. I'm reaching out because I need to heal and believe developing empathy for each other is a crucial part of that process. If you also want to heal, if you are willing to see me as a thoughtful person whose feelings and perceptions of the world are valuable, then read on. Although I think many will resonate with me, I don't want to generalize or make assumptions, and so I will only write for myself. I'm disappointed that we elected a president who, in my view, does not have the experience to excel at the multiple aspects his job requires. I'm disappointed we chose to believe he will surround himself with wise counsel, even though he repeatedly thwarted opinions, even in his inner circle, that did not confirm his own. I'm disappointed we chose to trust him, most of all, with our economic future, even though he has repeatedly filed for bankruptcy, refused to pay bills, and has chosen to make the vast majority of his products overseas rather than in America. These truths disappoint and frustrate me, but they're not the reason I've cried every day or look with pride to some of the protesting marchers or feel betrayed and shocked by my country. The reason I've had this election, the reaction I have had to this election has nothing to do with red or blue, with who got defeated, sour grapes, or even frustration with policy positions. My deep sadness comes because I feel alienated from my country, given what a vote for Trump necessarily affirms. I want to be clear, he has openly encouraged behavior and statements that portray women as gratifying objects whose primary value is demonstrated through their physical attributes, Muslims as radical, unwelcome terrorists who are not to be trusted or made welcome, and who cannot be loyal to America even if they die defending our freedom, Hispanic immigrants as thieves and criminals who have come to ruin American livelihoods, who cannot function as professional Americans in any environment, and disabled people as objects to be mocked. Please hear me say that I feel confident that you, the majority of Trump voters, disagree with and loathe these statements. I don't think you're racist or misogynistic in the way that you approach others. I also know that you might feel judged and attacked by those protesting or weeping for our country. I'm sorry to have lumped you in with voters who enthusiastically endorse the statements above. Here's the deal, though, and this is key to understanding the tears and the despair that some people feel. By voting for President Trump, you did endorse his perspectives on the value of others. With zero intention, maybe, on your part, you confirmed a perspective which negates the value of about half of our country. For a female survivor of abuse, a Muslim, an immigrant, a disabled person, our country's decision to elect Trump was an irreversible statement screaming that we find them unvaluable, expendable, and not one of us. I believe you when you say you didn't mean it, but this is the message that's rattling around in the hearts of half of our society. I'm a white Christian professional woman, and I'm devastated that I can't pull that message back. I can't unring that bell. My students and friends and African American daughter have to live out the consequences of all of us saying that these statements aren't bad enough to be absolutely rejected. They have to face the rest of us wondering if we love or hate them. They have to get up and go to work and school in a country that elevated a man who said they were not and never would be his equal. Can you imagine leaving your house this week if you were a minority teenage girl or boy? We had the chance to say no, And instead, by electing him, we said, more please. This is why I've been upset. I've heard many reasons a person might have voted for Trump, and none of those include bigotry. I hear you, and I'm trying to understand the dignity of your choice. For a person of color or for a female, these statements aren't just about personality or a gaffe. They are deadly sentiments which ruin lives. And I weep because our country voted to affirm them. I know these ideas are already out in the world, and I know voting for Trump didn't cause them to exist. However, I'm deeply wounded that we had the chance as a people committed to liberty and justice to say, absolutely not. I will not allow comments like that to go unchecked at my dinner table, my workplace, my playground, my church. But we missed it. Instead of saying we want to heal as a country with a terrible track record on race and gender, we decided deadly statements like Trump's were not the problem. This ability to overlook the danger in his comments reveals to me that my community either doesn't know any immigrants, Muslim, disabled people, or women, or that we just don't care. And that's why I weep. I'm not interested in blame, though, but in helping articulate a path forward so that we can stand up as a people and say, absolutely not, to words that inspire violence and exclusion. In light of that interest, here are my commitments to you. I commit to not speaking of all Trump voters as bigoted misogynists, as if you were all the same. I will believe that you did not and do not support or minimize the damage his comments would cause many in our country. I commit to working hard to finding empathy for those whose value system allowed them to vote for our president. I commit to giving our new president an open mind and my respect, even behind closed doors. I commit to confronting my own despair and to finding and celebrating moments of hope and healing. I commit to making it my daily mission to reach out and affirm every person marginalized by the power of the majority. I will go out of my way to listen and to actively value people who are different than me. In our commitment to healing, I ask you to consider the following. Will you commit to finding empathy for those whose lives feel endangered by trying to build relationships with people outside your race or gender? Will you commit to standing up and speaking out against jokes and stereotypes and comments that undermine the dignity and value of all God's people? Will you follow your vote up with action that affirms life, liberty, and equity for all, to look beyond your own interests in order to rebuild the fabric of our society? Will you reach out to those who might feel marginalized or endangered and let them know you're an advocate for them? I'm committed to making this the moment when we agree as a people not to blame each other for our failure as a society, no matter who you voted for. Can you commit personally to moving toward those who are weaker than you, who have less power or comfort? If we say yes, then maybe Trump's presidency will be one of healing and hope for all of us. So that's the letter that I wrote in 2016 after Trump was elected. I think we all know that Trump's presidency has not been one of healing or hope for all of us. And I do hope that however you vote in the next 2 weeks, that you will consider that what you do in the voting booth matters deeply, and yet how you live your daily life matters more. How you care for people, how you defend people, how you reach out and explain that you see the value in other people, all of that matters a lot more than how you voted. And I pray that we can overcome the divides that are tearing people apart in our country. I know this was more sort of raw and honest than more revealing maybe of my real feelings than I normally am on here, but I hope that you can take it for what it is, one person's opinion, and consider what you might do with it. Thank you.